Welcome traders to our midweek technical analysis video. So jumping straight into things here and going from Monday. So let's have a find and let's have a little look from Monday. So obviously we saw market open and we saw price then drop down. So obviously this was the market open candlestick, and if you remember from last time, we were discussing that this area here was forming as some sort of resistance. Now if you remember, if I go ahead and go back to our minute 5 real quick, if you remember, we were testing this same sort of area as a support, and we did in fact give the probability that a bullish move was more likely. However, as you can see in this technical analysis on our midweek, you can see very clearly that price ended up dropping down. So let's take a path and go ahead and just sort of mark up the rough move that has taken place. So as you can see, we ended up catapulting down, became bearish with gold creating lower lows and lower highs. Price ended up touching the depths of around 3,285 as our bottom level. One thing I would like to point out here is, as you can see, the points of interest indicated by our horizontal boxes here, marks in purple and yellow and black. These are our points of interest, and you can see that these are holding price nicely. So price is definitely still reacting to some of these levels, not all of them, but we are definitely seeing reactions in or around these areas. As you can see, price is sort of finding support at this level now. If I go ahead and just grab a brush, you can see that we are seeing some sort of rejection off of this support once again, which is what we actually saw here. So we saw price find support at this point of interest, which, by the way, many times we have seen price test this level as a support. With that being said, we could in fact see a bullish flip from this point onwards. So now we've analyzed our hour 1, let's go down to our minute 15 and have a closer look. So as you can see, we are actually forming a head and shoulders pattern, with our left shoulder being here, our head being there, and our right shoulder starting to form now. So we have one indication of a head and shoulders pattern. We also have price testing at one of our points of interests, which in this scenario is testing as a support, and we have had a validation not too long ago where price confirmed to us that this level is still holding as a strong level of support. Excuse me. So where could we see gold go for the rest of the week? So let's go ahead and grab a quick trend line. So obviously, as you can see, there's another indication here. So we have our point A here and we have our point B. Remember, what you want to do is you either want to grab as many wicks as you can, or place it from the bottom wick of the point A and then the bottom wick of the point B. So as you can see, we did actually have a pull outside of this. However, price came back in around half an hour later, indicating to us that this trend line was not broken. We have in fact also created, since the depths of here, since this point, this A point, we actually have created higher highs and higher lows, higher highs. And then here is where it gets interesting, because as you can see, we started to form this pattern of higher highs and higher lows. Price then catapulted. We had a exhaustion, we had some liquidation, which was grabbed from around this level, and price has rejected off of this level nicely. So what could we expect in the short run for gold as of right now? So obviously we have our head and shoulders pattern, we have this trend line holding up, and we also see this rejection of price. So what is that indicating to us? That is indicating to us that we could see a bullish rejection off of this level. How far will that bullish rejection take gold? We don't know, but we can do our best to analyze the charts and try to understand where we could expect gold to test at next. With that being said, the level that I'm looking for is this sort of level here at around the 3,305 mark. Why am I looking at this level? Is because when I see price drop into this or below this level, we see that price in previous scenarios has came back up to test this level as a resistance multiple times, and the same in this little block that we have here. You can see that price is testing here, here, and so on and so forth. We can see that this is a strong level. So if we see a bullish continuation and we see the bullish momentum enter the market and price starts to pull up, we will be looking at around that level of 3,305. However, there is definitely still a bearish scenario or a bearish opportunity here. So what we're looking for a bearish opportunity. So basically the level that we're wanting to be broken through is this level here. What could indicate to us that this level could be broken and a bearish move is going to continue? Obviously we have just established that on our minute 15 we have created a head and shoulders pattern. We are also testing a level of support, and we are also staying true to this trend line that we just marked in. However, the one invalidation that we could see which could catapult gold and drive it further and further, perhaps coming round to our next point of interest at around 3,265, is if this head and shoulders pattern begins to invalidate. How would we know that price is invalidated? So as you know, we have a left shoulder, our head, and a right shoulder being formed. Now, what's the most likely thing that happens with a inverted head and shoulders pattern is we'll see price continue. We'll have our neckline, for example. We'd have our neckline, we'd see price get broken through, and that would be an opportunity to enter a long position. However, as you can see, we did end up pushing up to this same sort of level here, and we have rejected off of this level multiple times. If I go ahead and drag that back just through this section, as you can see, it is actually a level that has been tested and has high rates of exhaustion, which is indicated by these long wicks that we have here. So price comes up to this level, rejects off, and then catapults in the opposite direction it tested from. So opportunities for a bearish move are likely from this level here. So what we're looking for is continued respect of this level here, and then a invalidation of this inverted head and shoulders pattern. So this will look like this. So instead of the head and shoulders pattern going from here and continuing all the way up, what we're looking for is stopping again at around this level, which we have just seen, and then price breaking through. Once price clears these points of interest, so obviously right here is where the two heads were. So let me just grab a path real quick, and we'll do that over on the other side here. You can see that we do have two heads here, two shoulders. So if we are to see this head and shoulders pattern invalidate, we're looking for both the left and the right shoulder to give us a break of structure. So we're looking for price to drive from around this point of interest that we have here and drive on through, perhaps coming back to this level, testing as at this sort of level, as we can see here, multiple times tested, coming back to test this level, and then continuing on bearish. Where would we expect price to go if we see a bearish move? It will be at our next point of interest. For more information, we can go to our hour 1. As you can see, we are creating a higher time frame head and shoulders pattern, not as clean as the minute 15, but it is definitely still a head and shoulders pattern. So the next level that we'd be looking for is that level of around 3,265. That's going to be the level that we're looking for price to then start holding the next potential level of support if price is to break and invalidate this head and shoulders. However, we are analyzing this chart in a live market, and as you can see, price has come back up in that same minute 15 candlestick to test this same area again. So the indication for a bullish move or a bullish continuation that we have seen since the support has been tested is if price continues to respect and continue to keep this head and shoulders pattern validated. So if we see price break through this level, we're then looking at this next level of around 3,305 to either hold price as a resistance, causing price to drive back down, or we see this level get broken and we test to our next points of interest. If we do see a strong bullish move pulling out of this level, the next level that we're going to be looking for is around here, the 3,340 mark. So in conclusion, for a bearish move, we are looking for at some point in the next half an hour to 45 minutes. We're looking for price to continue to respect this level of around 3,300, test it as a resistance, and then invalidate by breaking structure or breaking the same level as the two shoulders were created, and then driving on down. For a bullish move, we are looking for this level to be broken through, and then we are looking for this level to be broken through. We will ignore these points of interest here, and we will focus on that level of 3,340. So as far as it goes, I think we have a good understanding of the markets as of right now. Obviously, this is our midweek technical analysis. I'm going to keep the same format as I have done for the last couple of weeks now, and I'm going to get back in touch with you guys on the Saturday, where I will post the post-week market review, where I will go from the market, we'll go all the way over the market from Monday to Friday and go into detail for every single move, every single opportunity, every twist, every flip, anything that has happened in the market I will cover in that post-week market analysis. So I hope you've all enjoyed this midweek technical analysis video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.